Hello, welcome back to my channel. And welcome to April's Smut Salon video. This is episode 5 of Smut Salon, I'm pretty sure. Last episode I read the ACOTAR trilogy by Sarah J. Maas, the original ACOTAR trilogy and A Court of Civil Flames. In that video, I said that in April for Smut Salon I was going to be reading a new release, The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer Armentrout. I did go ahead and read this book, but I fully thought that this was like the third and final book in the From Blood and Ash trilogy by Jennifer Armentrout, and that was why I picked it. However, turns out it's not the third and final book. Apparently this is a 6-book series with its own little spin-off series as well. So nowhere near done with this series, and I definitely got the shock of my life finishing that book and thinking that that was how the series was going to end. And so I have decided to change my mind, and I'm not going to be reading The Crown of Gilded Bones for this video. Instead, we're going to go with an idea that I've had for a while now, and I'm actually really glad that I get to do this month because I've been wanting to do it for ages, and just the way that things were going before I decided to change everything up and just do it this month, I wouldn't have been able to get to this video idea for months. So I'm very excited to be doing that now. So this month we are going to be reading a bunch of smutty books that I have found off of Book Talk. In the second Smut Salon episode, I read the Bargainer trilogy by Laura Thalassa, and that was also a recommendation that I had found on TikTok, and that gave me the idea to maybe take a wider variety of recommendations, or not necessarily just like read one whole series, read a bunch of different smutty book recs off TikTok, see if they stand up to the hype, see if they are indeed smutty, give my personal opinions and my thoughts, all that good stuff. I ended up picking 5 books. I have a potential other one that I could also read as well, but I'm not so sure if I want to do 5 or 6 videos for this. I don't know if 5 is going to be too much. So I have 5 picked out. I might also read a 6th one. We'll just see how the vlog goes. But in no particular order, for this vlog I have picked out Radiance by Draven. This is the first in the series. It's, from what I can tell, like a paranormal kind of romance. Then I have taken Sacrifice by Katie Robert, and this is a vampire paranormal romance, and it is also the first in the series. The next book I picked was the Zodiac Academy. This is by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti, and this is also the first in the series, and this is also like a paranormal fantasy kind of romance. I'm not entirely sure how the romance comes into this. Like in all the picks that I have, it kind of, there's always like there's a description of a romance. This is one that doesn't have that in the blurb, so I'm uncertain of how the smutty romantic aspect is going to come into it, but I'm excited to find out. This is one that I see recommended a lot on TikTok. Then I've picked Flames of Chaos by Emilia Hutchins, and this is a fantasy romance, but it definitely, at least from like the vibes that I've picked up on from the blurb, this definitely feels like it's going to be more romantic than smutty, but it's been recommended as being like a little bit spicy, so interested to see if it is more sweet, romantic, or smutty. And then the last book, the 5th book that I've picked, is Flock by Kate Stewart. This is also the first in the series, and this is like a reverse harem romance set, contemporary setting though, so not, I think this is the only like non-paranormal fantasy kind of book that I've picked off of TikTok, because I mostly get recommended paranormal fantasy spicy books. I have heard a lot about Flock on TikTok, not necessarily spoilers or anything, I've just seen it recommended a lot, so had to include this in my picks. So those are the 5 books that I've picked to read for this vlog. I'm very excited to get to reading them. I don't know what order I'm going to read them in. I don't know if the order that I listed them in is the order that I'm going to read them in, but let's just jump into the vlog portion of this video, and I will pick one of these up and then come chat with you guys once I have done some reading and have some thoughts. So I've finished reading the first book for this vlog, Sacrifice. How have I already forgotten the author's name? Kate something, I'm pretty sure. It'll be on the screen, you guys can see. I didn't mean to just like read it and not update you guys while I was reading it, but this was actually a surprisingly short book. My ebook was only 300 pages long. I read this in like just over an hour. I don't know if this is technically like a novella or not. I will check, but either way, very, very short, but very, very enjoyable. I was actually surprised by how much I liked this. Basic concept, our main character Mina is a damper, so like half vampire, half human, and her father is a very, very powerful vampire, and he basically has saved Mina to be a sacrifice, as the title suggests, for another powerful vampire that exists in this world. Basically in this world there are like 7 very powerful vampires. I think they're meant to be like the original 7 vampires that created all the others, that kind of vibe. Mina's dad is one of those, and then he's like kind of trying to control all of these other powerful vampires, and he has one of these other powerful vampires, Malachi, trapped in this like manor, and so every few years he sends blood sources basically to Malachi's house, and he saves his daughter to be one of those blood sacrifices pretty much. So our story starts when Mina is sent to Malachi's mansion, whatever the fuck, where he lives, and like immediately, apparently he's been starved for like 20 years or something, immediately he like drinks from her. It's like very, very quick. This is one of those books very much where it's like everything that happens in the plot is just so that sex can happen. It's like an erotica short story basically, like very light on the plot, very heavy on the steam and the tension and stuff like that. And I feel like it's important to say that not only is Mina being sent there so like Malachi can feed off of her, Mina's dad wants her to sleep with Malachi so she can get pregnant, and her dad can then take her and the baby and like use the baby to like blackmail Malachi. As I said, the dad is trying to like get control of all of these powerful people, whatever. There isn't like too much plot. That's probably like the extent of the world building, I guess, that we see in this little novella. This is the first in a series. I do think I'm gonna go read the second one because like I'm a little bit interested. I will say I really liked the end, like no spoilers, but there's like a little bit of a reverse harem kind of twist at the end, which I like definitely makes me want to go and see what happens in the second book. Very excited for that. But this was definitely steamy, definitely just like a very fun, easy read. Like if I'm being honest, I was a little bit surprised by how much I enjoyed myself. Not that the writing or anything or the world building is anything like spectacular, never been seen before, but the writing is good, it's decent, the world building was decent enough, the plot very like short, sweet, to the point, simple. I don't know, it was just a very effective book, I think. A very, very effective short book. I had a really, really great time, and it was definitely steamy. Like when I say on page 16, Mina was like orgasming on the floor. So it got right to it, really did not mess around. It was just, I think it was effective. Definitely spicy. I can't remember. I would give it like, I don't think it was like necessarily the spiciest thing I'd ever read, but it's definitely up there. We're gonna give it like a 4 spice rating. So I think the next book I'm going to read is going to be Radiance, which I think is also kind of short. I'm not too sure, but I will read that and I will check back in with you guys once I have some thoughts. Slightly different angle. Once again, I didn't mean to just completely read this book and not update you guys while I was reading, but Radiance by Grace Draven was also incredibly short. I think I said my Sacrifice ebook was only 300 pages. This one was only 500 pages, so took me only about 2 hours to read, and if I'm being entirely honest, didn't really have a lot of thoughts while reading, considering smut spice levels, right? But now that I've finished it, I was pleasantly surprised by this one as well, by how much I enjoyed it. I think this one is very sweet, and let's discuss why. So this definitely gives me more of a romance vibe than kind of like a dirty, smutty, NSFW, any kind of erotica, smutty kind of book. This is about, I'm going to absolutely butcher their names because they are not, I have no idea. This gives me definitely like sci-fi vibes. So our main female character is human, her name's like Ildiko, something like that, and then our male main character's name is Bishan, something like that. I'll like type their names on the screen so you guys can see what their names are. I'm terrible at pronouncing things in general, and I mean, I have no idea how you would say this. So female main character, she's a human. Male main character is this kind of what I am assuming is like an alien sort of race, but it's set on Earth and the humans and the aliens live together. The aliens are kind of like nocturnal, they only come out at night. And I mean, from what I can tell, they're kind of similar to humans in a lot of ways, just their faces look a little bit different, I think, really. Basically, this is like an arranged marriage friends to lovers book. Our two main characters are set to marry for political reasons, so they can bring both of their like countries together, their people together, whatever. And like right at the start, we're told that like, not that they necessarily hate each other, but it's like the Kai, the alien people, are like meant to be really ugly to humans, and then the humans are like really ugly and weird to the Kai, so obviously very different. No one thinks that, you know, how do you even say her name? Ildiko and Bishan are like going to get along. They think it's going to be a really terrible marriage because like they're repulsive to each other and they're so different, it's not going to work, whatever. But they come to like a mutual agreement. They both have like really witty kind of banter from the get-go, and so they become really good friends. And then definitely towards the end of the book, that changes to them being lovers. It definitely takes a long time for like the steam to build up. I mean, it's still a shorter book, so it's not like it takes too long, but it's definitely like a lot of the first half of the book, I would say like at least the first 60% is built on them building up their friendship, and then at most the last 40% is like them being more like romantically, sexually involved with each other, which honestly is not a bad thing. I think they did a really good job at building the relationship between the two of them. I absolutely adored their friendship. Absolutely, like, they were so sweet together, and absolutely like made up for the lack of spicy content at the end, because it was just so sweet. Like, it was just so sweet. So even though the smutty content at the end, not that it was necessarily like fade to black, but it was definitely like a little bit vague. I think there's like maybe like 2 kind of sex scenes, and they're not like as descriptive as say like Sacrifice. Like, comparing this to Sacrifice, which I've already read for this video, Sacrifice was smutty, straight NSFW, whatever. This was definitely sweeter, more like plot focused, I guess you could say, and definitely more like romantic. Absolutely not that I am complaining at all. I actually really like this. I think I'm going to give, I don't think I said what I was going to rate Sacrifice. I was looking back over my clip and I don't think I said. I think I'm going to give both of these 3 stars, but I do feel like they could potentially both be like 4 stars. I think I'm really worried that I'm going to read the next 2 books, specifically the Zodiac Academy, and I'm not going to like it, and it's going to be like what I would give like a 2 or 3 star rating. And Sacrifice and Radiance have both been solid. Like, they've both been solid reads. I really enjoyed reading them. I think they both did a really good job at what they set out to do. And I'm not usually a fan of shorter stories, but I definitely think that I enjoyed the shorter length of these. I think that given the amount of story time we have in both of these, you know, with both of these characters and both of these worlds, I think both of these authors have done a really great job at creating like simple enough but complex enough worlds and relationships and characters. I'm impressed. Not that these are like the best things that I've ever read, not that I absolutely loved them, adored them, so they're definitely not 5-star reads, but potentially could be 4 stars. We'll see what happens when I read the Zodiac Academy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very nervous. I feel like it's the one I'm going to like the least. I'm saving Flock for last, because I think that Flock is not going to be my favorite in terms of like plot or characters or anything like that. Like, it could be potentially, but that's not what I'm expecting. I think it'll be, it seems like it's going to be the steamiest, if I'm being completely honest, out of all of these. Like, Sacrifice was definitely just a very short erotica book, so it definitely has steam and spice if that's what you're looking for. Radiance, not so much. I just think, I don't know, from what I've heard on TikTok, I feel like Flock is the one that everyone loves the most and is like the steamiest, whatever. Zodiac Academy, I haven't heard about as much. It is popular on TikTok. It is talked about a lot, at least in like the videos that I get on my For You page, but still just a bit uncertain. I'm really not sure about it. So I'm going to read Zodiac Academy next. I will have some thoughts. I'll have something to say. I also think it's longer, so hopefully there'll be more opportunities for me to update you guys. Turns out I'm not going to be reading the Zodiac Academy for this video, not for any particular reason. I started it, I got about 100 pages into the ebook, and I just decided I had absolutely no interest in this story. Which brings me to the last book I said I was going to read for this video, Flock by, is it Kate Stewart? Started Flock. I'm a lot farther in than I thought. I was meant to update you guys around the 25% mark, but I'm pretty sure I just hit the 40% mark. And this is about, I can't even remember her name, a girl, and she goes to stay with her dad for the summer. She's working at this big company that he owns, and on her first day there she meets a guy. He takes her to a party. She meets a bunch of other guys, and I'm pretty sure from what I've heard this is meant to be a reverse harem poly kind of setup. So far though, she's only with the first guy that she's met, the one who she met on her first day at work and who took her to the party. She's only been with this guy. They have gotten together, kind of in a relationship, kind of not. And like 40% of the way into the book, I'm a little bit bored. I'm not going to lie. This is definitely like just the writing style of this book. I could absolutely see some people really loving this. It's just a lot. You know, there's a lot of talking, a lot of explaining, a lot of telling, not a whole lot of showing, and like specifically towards things that kind of just like it make me kind of fed up. Like there's all this talk about how this group of guys that she's been introduced to, they're bad boys, they're hot shit, don't get involved with them. We haven't really we haven't seen why they're bad. We haven't seen why she shouldn't get involved with them. This is just like talk of the town. And I'm 40% of the way into the book. I get like at the start maybe she just hears from other people in the town, don't get involved with these boys, but I feel like by now at this point I should have some proof of why they're bad. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm also just like, I can't see how this is going to turn into a reverse harem poly situation. I was kind of interested in the like, you know, budding relationship between the first guy that she meets, but now I'm kind of over it. Honestly, I'm kind of just a little bit sick of it. And I don't see how she's going to get with the other guys. There's one other guy who he's like meant to be very much like, he's doesn't say anything, he's dark, he's brooding, he's a little bit broken, and there's meant to be like, there's kind of been some sexual tension between our main character and him, but it's not being set up in a way that makes me like want them to get together, so not really interested in that either. There's one guy who's meant to be, he seems like he's meant to be a little bit nice, and I don't see why he's like getting no attention. He's very much just a side character at this point. I don't know why he's not getting any attention, and it's confusing me because like out of all of them, I want her to get with this nicer guy, and I think it's because we know nothing about him. I've like what I know of the two guys who are currently like taking up the most of the time in this book, I'm not interested in either of them. The more I learn about them, the less interested I am. But the nice guy seems interesting, and he seems nice, and I want her to get to know him a little bit more. So I'm gonna keep reading, even though I'm 40% in and I'm quite bored, because I mean, I will say I am interested to see how it turns into a reverse harem kind of poly situation if it does go in that direction, and I want to give the nice guy a chance. I really do. I want to see if he gets any time to shine, because I think that would be cute. And I mean, I will say, while I'm not exactly having the time of my life reading this, it is definitely steamy. It is definitely, we've had a few smut scenes already, 40% into the book. Her and the first guy who she meets, they've gotten together, they've had sex a few times. It's great, steamy, whatever. And honestly, not my kind of smut. I don't know. I don't know what is like not doing it for me, but it's just like, no, I'm really detached from the story. So detached. Cannot emphasize enough how detached I am from the story and these characters. But anyway, I'm gonna keep reading and we're gonna see if it gets a little bit better. We'll see. I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna keep giving this book a chance, but so far I'm not like I'm disappointed. I'm just extremely underwhelmed. I'm extremely underwhelmed. It's very average. That's all I have to say so far. Seems this is the only angle you're really getting in this video, but I finished Flock by Kate Stewart. Is that her name? Kate Stewart? I literally cannot even remember. I gave this 2 stars on Goodreads. Let's discuss this for a second. I think when I last updated you guys, I said that I wasn't that invested, but I was gonna give it a chance, and that it was definitely steamy. And pretty much those are just like my final overall thoughts. If I was gonna give this a spice level, I would give this like a 4 out of 5. It's, you know, pretty sexy, pretty smutty. That's good, that's great. But was I invested in the smut? No. I wasn't invested in the characters. I wasn't invested in the plot. If you go on Goodreads and you look at like the majority of the reviews for the story, it's like pretty apparent that the plot only happens in the last 10% of the book. Everyone just agrees that the plot in the first 90% of the book is just pointless and like nothing really happens, and then everything happens at the very end, like plot wise. Obviously the first 90% we get like context, background for the characters, and like the relationship building between our main character, whose name is just gone from my head because I don't think it was that relevant. I really didn't like her at all. I did not like her like being inside her like head. I didn't like the first person narration for this. It was painful for me. I really just did not vibe with this main character at all. Like, that's just a personal thing. I could definitely see people who would, but just for me, found no connection to her whatsoever. And then obviously we like get introduced to these like male love interests, and we get to see how they develop through this main character's like point of view, through her eyes only. And I think this book would have done so well if it was like at least a double point of view story. Like, if we at least got one of the other guy's point of views as well, if it was like alternating, oh my god, I think I would have liked this so much more. But I just couldn't stand this female main character. I could not stand her, and I don't think she did a very good job either of like selling the love interest. I didn't love them either, honestly. And like, I'm not saying that if I like necessarily that if we had some chapters from their point of views I would have loved them too, but I think it would have like helped me connect more to them, because I really didn't care about anything in this book, like, at all. I really like zero interest, zero attachment, zero connection. It really just felt like reading that was just like a waste of time. That's what it felt like. But I did read it and I did finish it. And also the fact that like in the last 10% the plot, I'm not gonna say it gets interesting, but like the plot happens, kind of made me mad, because I don't want to go and read the second book because I didn't enjoy this one. But I feel like if the I do want to know what happens, but I really I know I'm not gonna go pick up the second book. Like, I'm not. I really did not have a good time reading this first one, and it's not like, as I said, like, I really want to say personally, like, nothing necessarily bad happened in the story that made me like hate it. I just was very just detached from the whole thing the whole time. So didn't work for me. That's totally fine. Lots of other people really do like this story, and there were parts in this book that I did enjoy. There were parts, struggling to think of them now, but there were parts that I liked. So I definitely understand why people do like this. Like, I'm not saying like this is the worst thing I've ever read. It's absolutely not. It just didn't do it for me personally. But TikTok did not miss with this recommendation. It was steamy. Like, it was spicy. Not the spiciest thing I've ever read, but I think like from all the books that we've read in this video, or I've read in this video, Sacrifice and Flock are the spiciest. Didn't end up reading the Zodiac Academy, and you know what, I felt kind of bad like not having read one of the books for this vlog. So I actually went on TikTok last night and I went back under the Spice Talk hashtag, and I think on the second video down I saw a recommendation for another smutty book, Priceless by Miranda Silva, and the girl on the TikTok who recommended this said that she absolutely loved this. She wants to reread it over and over and over again. It was super smutty and she really enjoyed it. So I'm going to read this because I don't know, I feel like 3 books, I'm disappointed that I didn't, like, I DNF'd one and then I didn't end up loving Flock, and I don't want to end on like that low of a note. So I'm gonna go ahead and read Priceless by Miranda Silva, give this a go. I'm not necessarily guaranteeing that it's going to be incredible, but this girl on TikTok seemed to really love it, so I'm going to give this a chance. She said that she was recommended this book from TikTok as well, so seems that it's kind of popular, seems that she really loved it, seems like quite a few people on TikTok really love it. So we're going to read this. This is going to be the last book for this video. It's very spur of the moment kind of decision to pick up another book, but I haven't started this yet. I will check in with you guys, give you guys a little update once I've started. So I'm about 30% into Priceless by Miranda Silva, and this is one of the dirtiest fucking things I have ever read in my life. Oh my goodness. Basically, this is like a new adult, from what I can tell, kind of, I don't even want to say romance. I can't tell if this is going to like end up in a romance, but it's like new adult. We follow Christina, who's studying at university, and right at the start of this book we get introduced. She's like having a really tough time at the moment. Right at the start we get like thrown into the deep end, all of Christina's problems. She's out of money, she's out of power, she's out of heat, she's failing some classes, she's out of Adderall, which she's buying illegally, and I feel an addiction coming on, so potential trigger warning for that. But then kind of in, I think it is in the first chapter, maybe in the second chapter, basically Christina sees this guy called Patrick, and we learn that her and Patrick met like a year ago at a party. They didn't actually like get to tell each other their names or anything. Like, they were at a party kind of like staring at each other across the room, you know, kind of like checking each other out. They had like a very brief conversation, and then she hasn't like seen him since. But she did go online and stalk him and found out that his name was Patrick, and he's part of this why was I going to say cult? He's part of a frat. he's part of a fraternity, not a cult. And in this like first chapter, Patrick basically invites her to a party at his frat house, and she goes, and when she's there, Patrick, he basically says that he wants to pay her money to sleep with him, which I read that and I was like, oh my god, girl, how convenient for you. Get it, he's hot, you're out of money, and he's offering you money, like, to literally have sex with him, and she wants to have sex with him like so bad. I was like, girl, how convenient. Oddly enough, Christina is kind of insulted, which, I mean, like, you know, different, I don't know, like different, is it morals? I don't know. Like, I personally wouldn't be offended if someone like offered me money for sex. Like, not inherently. I guess it would depend on the context. But I don't think Patrick necessarily, like, it was weird, but it wasn't necessarily insulting. Obviously just very different mindset. She was like, ew, why would you offer me that? And I was like, okay, girl, that, like, why would you not just jump on that chance? Like, oh my goodness, absolutely. If I was her, I absolutely would have. But anyway, she ends up accepting his deal. Well, she says she agrees to have a trial with him for one night. And basically he's like, I want to pay you, like, we'll meet 3 times a week, and it's just like he doesn't really explain necessarily why he can't just like sleep with anyone, but anyway, she agrees, and so now they have this kind of arrangement where they're seeing each other 3 times a week and they're having sex and she's getting paid. And this is like, it's really interesting because, like, I'm not, like, the sex is filthy, like, oh my god, this is totally smutty. Potential trigger warnings for certain, like, kinks, like, they're kind of into, like, degrading each other. It's kind of enemies to lovers vibes. Well,
not sure if the two lovers part is going to happen, but it's very much kind of like, I hate you, but like, I don't hate you because you're good in bed kind of vibes. It's like, I don't think this is like, it's weird because like I'm enjoying reading this. I'm kind of interested to see where this goes, but I wouldn't say this is the best thing I've ever read, but I'm intrigued. It's probably one of the filthiest things I've ever read. It's up there. This is definitely just like smut. And like, while there have been a few lines that kind of just make me cringe while I was reading it, and I was going like, why would you have them say that? The rest of it is not bad. I will say the rest of it is pretty okay. And like for 30% in, like I'm decently intrigued and like the character development. Like I'm really interested honestly to see where Christina's character goes. Like I feel like where she is right now, she's definitely like, she can either kind of go full send off the rails, or like we're seeing her trying to kind of like get her life together. So maybe she like gets her life together, maybe, or like maybe being with Patrick, she kind of realizes that getting her life together doesn't mean like meeting the standards that everyone else holds for her. Maybe she'll like make her own standards. I feel like that'll be like the best outcome for her. I don't know if it's gonna happen though. But yeah, kind of interested to see where she goes. Very interested to see if they have a relationship, her and Patrick. Patrick is weird. Haven't had a like Patrick point of view, so I don't know if we're going to get his point of view at any time, but I'd be interested because I don't know, something about him is, I'm just like, he's not, is he meant to be just like a normal, like I don't think he's meant to be a normal guy, but like I can't tell what, just like I feel like he has a secret, but there are no hints as to what his secret is, and I want to know. I'm intrigued. We'll say this, I'm intrigued, and it's smutty, it's filthy as all hell. Oh my god. 30% in. I have no idea where the rest of the book is going to go, so I'm going to keep reading, and I'll keep you updated, I guess. I'm actually so invested in this book. Holy shit. Like, at most expected it to be like an average fun steamy read. It is fun, it is steamy, but I'm also like emotionally invested in this story. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. I did not expect to like kind of get in my feels over this. I'm like 80% of the way through. I'm pretty much almost done. The way that I literally had to stop myself from just finishing this so I could come and update you guys and say that I really, really like this. I really, really like this. Really, really like this. Most of the story has been told from Christina's point of view, but there have been, I want to say like 2 or 3 chapters from Patrick's point of view, and those have been like chef's kiss at the most perfect times, exactly when you need them, in my opinion. Like they work really well in the story, like in the timeline. Oh my god, so good. And I just like, I'm 80% of the way through, and things got a little bit better. Now they're getting a little bit worse again, to be expected, but I literally cannot tell how this is going to end. I feel like I'm like holding my breath. I don't know. I'm like not anxious. Anxious isn't the right word. I'm something. I just like, oh my god, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm dying to know how this ends. Really took like everything in me to stop and just give you one more update. It's good. I'm really liking it, and I'm not gonna lie, I am scared that something is going to happen in this last 20% that makes me not love this. I really hope that doesn't happen. Like, really, really hope that doesn't happen. I hope it all, like, I don't know how I want it exactly to end up, but I hope it ends up at least kind of good. Oh my god, I'm really liking this. Really liking this. I don't know if everyone would love this. We'll talk more about that at the end. But, like, currently if I had to rate this, it would easily be a 4-star. And like this last 20% has the potential to either make it a 5-star or take it back down to a 3. But currently it's like a 4-star read. I'm really liking this. Okay. I finished Priceless by Miranda Silva. I think I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I really liked this so much. So much. Definitely, I don't think that this would be like for everyone. I'm gonna see if there's a list of like content warnings for this book. And if there are, I will post a link Otherwise, I will go through and write a list myself in the description. Nothing, like, actually, like, so bad happens in this book, I don't think. But, like, when you're dealing with kind of, like, smutty, kinky stuff, obviously, it's just, like, best to be cautious and let everyone know what's going on. You know, I will say there is, like, definitely a few scenes in this book where there are guys who come onto Christina and it definitely gives off the vibes that they would sexually assault her. It never happens, but like there are close calls and definitely those were uncomfortable to read. Just like little things like that, you know. And I probably can't list everything off the top of my head, even though I just finished reading this book. I'd probably miss something, so I'll make a list. You can check it out down in the descriptions. Definitely, like, I kind of want to give this 5 stars. I really like this. Usually this was definitely like it was definitely kind of like enemies to lovers sort of vibes, except they kind of wanted each other at the start. But anyway, very much kind of hate to lover kind of dynamic going on. So there was like a little bit of romance in there, like kind of, but this was definitely more just like smutty erotica kind of vibes. In terms of spice rating, that's why we're here. I would probably say that I'm gonna, like, this is like a 5. This is like a level 5 kind of spice. This was like insanely spicy. Like insanely spicy. I don't know if it's the spiciest thing I've ever read technically, but it's one of them. It's up there. This was hot. This was smutty and it was hot and it was good. So there, as I did mention, few descriptors that kind of just made me ugh. Like, why would you write that? That's actually not hot, but like there's always a chance that someone is like, you can't just write something that everyone's gonna love when it comes to smut. There's always gonna be one kind of word choice that like throws everyone off. So not like entirely complaining about the few little words that like kind of threw me and like, you know, kind of just made me cringe a bit. Not gonna hold it against this book because I really liked everything else. I was so emotionally invested in these characters. Oh my goodness, and I did not expect to actually care about them, but I really did, and I really liked their personal character growth and their relationship development. Everything about this chef's kiss. I'm really happy that I read this. I'm really happy I took a chance and read this book for this video. I'm glad that we have ended this on a good note. This is what I wanted for Flock, okay? This is like, when I picked Flock, I thought this was going to be like I thought this was what it was going to be. I thought I was going to get emotionally invested. I thought it was going to be spicy and dramatic and good, but no, Flock, we talked about that. It sucked. I didn't like it. This, Priceless, oh my gosh, absolutely loved it. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and edit this video and try and upload it as soon as I can because I really loved this. And I'm just like, wow, I'm inspired. Wow, I actually loved it so much. Okay, quickly though, before I go, we'll just do a little recap of what I read so far. So, first book I read for this video, Sacrifice by Katie Robert. This was a short, smutty novella. I'm gonna call it a novella. Paranormal romance, vampire characters. I really liked this. I think I gave it a 3-star rating overall, but I said it was like a 4. It was like a 4 level rating for the spice. I would agree with that. The next book I read for this was Radiance by Draven. Really liked this. It definitely felt more like a romance to me. There were a few kind of spicy scenes, but still I'd give this like a 2 or 3 level spice rating. But I really liked this Friends to Lovers Arranged Marriage. I thought it was super sweet and really nice. Would recommend it just if you're looking for a kind of different paranormal sci-fi kind of romance. Then I read Flock by Kate Stewart. I gave this 2 stars on Goodreads, but this is definitely like a 4 spice level kind of read. Definitely was spicy. I can definitely see people loving this. Just wasn't for me personally. And then obviously I finished this video off reading Priceless by Miranda Silva. Banging. What a great book to finish on. 5 level spice. 4 to 5 level spice. I feel like 5 is just such a bold statement to say that something's like that spicy. 4 to 5 level spice. 4 stars. I might even bump it up to 5 stars. I really liked this. Really great. TikTok did not miss with this recommendation. I also realized that I feel like I should mention, was going to read the Zodiac Academy. DNF'd it about 100 pages into the ebook. I just couldn't get into it, knew I wasn't gonna like it, didn't want to really waste my time reading that for a video at least. And I realized I was also going to read, I think it's called Flames of Chaos. I think I mentioned it in my first video. But I will tell you, sometime between reading a bunch of these books, I went on Goodreads and I read some of the reviews for this book, and I will leave a link to the review that I read down in the description. It basically goes through the whole story, so if you don't want to be spoiled, like, it doesn't go straight into the description, so it's not like you're going to be spoiled if you click on the link, but this reviewer went through, detailed the whole plot, and while it definitely sounded like it was going to be spicy, it seemed that there were going to be kind of like consensual issues or like vague consent at times and kind of weird sexual assault parts in the book. And I just like, with the kind of fantasy plot that would have been like on top of the smuttiness, none of it interested me, so I decided not to even mention it in this video. Not gonna pick it up, don't think it's for me. We'll leave a link to all of these books, like their Goodreads and stuff like that, down in the description. I am really glad that I went ahead and did this. I actually had so much fun with this video. I think it's safe to say that TikTok kind of pulls through with their recommendations. Like, these books were all definitely spicy in some way. Even if I didn't love them, looking at you, flock, they were definitely spicy. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next month with another Smut Salon video. I will announce what I will be reading for that on my Instagram. I think I'm only going to be reading one book this month because I know I'm really busy in May. But we'll just see. Keep an eye out on my Instagram for that. It'll be linked down in the description. And I will probably see you guys sooner than that with another video. Bye!